I never mentioned my $30,000 salary to my mom, until my son did. That night at their anniversary dinner, my card disappeared. Just for one small bill, she whispered. By morning, $38,000 was gone. Dad smirked, family first. I stayed silent, until 7:02 a.m., when one quiet move made their phones explode with 53 missed calls. Can you imagine the sick, sinking feeling when your own family, the people who raised you, empties your bank account overnight? But what if the person who gave them the key was your own unsuspecting child, innocently sharing a secret they never should have known? Hey guys, Harold here. I'm 37, a general surgeon. Yeah, one of those guys, and a single dad to my amazing 12-year-old son, Mason. In my family, I'm what you might call the useful one. Not the genius, not the screw-up. I'm the one who shows up, lifts, signs, pays, and somehow, always stays quiet. We grew up in a tiny, two-bedroom apartment where you could hear everything. My mom ran the house by sound. Blender at 6:20 a.m. meant good mood. Dad's loud TV by breakfast. Oh, my younger sister, April, was the golden child. Soft voice, big eyes, the kind of person everyone just had to protect. I learned pretty early that just being steady, being reliable, didn't mean you were seen. Not really. People think surgeons are all drama, right? Nope. It's 4:45 a.m. alarms, coffee that tastes like metal, scrubs that never quite lose that hospital smell. You get really good at small, exact things. Cut here, not there. Wash your hands. Clamp the bleeder. Chart the note. Most of my life is muscle memory and quiet, calculated decisions. Money? Oh, I never talked about money. Not because I was ashamed. Because in my family, saying you had enough instantly meant someone else needed it. Saying you didn't? Ungrateful. So, I said nothing. Even when my best month, with call and cases at the private clinic, stacked up close to $30,000, I just told Mason, I fix bellies, and my job is to come home in one piece. That's it. Mason, bless his heart, is a literal kid. Loud laugh, zero poker face. He's good, but he blurts. My mom loves that about him. She'd crouch down. Coo. Tell me everything, sweetheart. Does your dad eat? Does he sleep? Does he keep secrets? Mason would just squirm and change the subject. So Saturday night. Parents' 40th anniversary. White tablecloths, candles, the kind of place where they wipe crumbs between courses and you feel like you're wearing your shoes wrong. We roll in at 7:08 p.m. Dad's already on his second glass of wine. Mom's got this shiny dress on, that movie star smile. April's snapping pictures with a flash like we're all going off to college. Family together. April sang. Family first. Dad chimed in, clinking his glass to mine without even looking. Dinner was the usual script, just with fancier props. Harold, cut your hair like the anchor on Channel 9. Harold, you should delegate. Harold, don't marry your job. I just chewed and nodded. Mason, meanwhile, was studying the menu like it was a treasure map. Then the check came. Small black folder, bill folded like a secret. I put my card on top. Waiter left. That's when Mom leaned into Mason, that soft smile that always looks so generous until you hear the words. Is your dad still underpaid at the hospital? She whispered. Mason blinked. He looked at me. I don't know, Grandma. I don't know money stuff. How much does he make? Mom pushed. Her eyes on me, voice still sweet. Ballpark. Grandma won't tell. Mason flushed. I saw an email once 30-something. 30,000 for a month, I think. April gasped. A full-on sitcom gasp. Dad set his glass down a little too hard. 30, he repeated, tasting it. Interesting. Heat surged up my throat. Mason, I said, trying to keep my voice gentle, you don't have to. It's family. Mom crooned, tapping the bill. Family, Harold. She slid her fingers under the leather, took my card, gave me this tiny wink. I'm just running this for one small bill, she whispered. A silly thing. Help for April. Family first. Dad chuckled. The surgeon can handle it. Mason looked absolutely crushed with guilt. I just looked at my hands. And I did what I always do. I breathed. Counted. Let the whole rotten scene just roll over me. No speech. No fight. Not yet. We sang for dessert. More photos. I kissed my parents goodnight in the parking lot, just like always. The first bank alert hit my phone at 12:11 a.m. Approved. I didn't know it then, but that little whisper over the white tablecloth was the crack. The crack where everything slid out. Cash, respect, whatever version of loyalty we'd been pretending was love. I went home, tucked Mason into bed, and watched the messages roll in like a slow bleed. I didn't answer. Dad's family first toast echoed in my head. A bitter joke I was too old for. I didn't respond. Not then. This didn't start at an anniversary dinner. Oh no, this started years before. With an invisible list of expectations nobody ever wrote down, because they didn't have to. I was the one who just knew how to do things. Change a tire. Book travel. Fill out school forms. Talk to insurance. Harold will handle it. In residency, I picked up extra shifts just to keep the lights on and my stomach full. At home, I covered all the small stuff that eventually grew teeth. Mom's gas bill, just this month. Dad's phone, the plan is weird. April's car insurance. I'll pay you back Friday, promise. Fridays came and went. Those promises? They rolled like marbles into dark corners and just stayed there. It's hard to explain this to people who didn't grow up like us. If you're quiet and competent, your family just builds a staircase on your back and calls it love. I carried them for years. Because that's what good sons do. And because, deep down, I was terrified of being called selfish. April? She never got that word. April got special, sensitive, just needs a little help. We used to joke she could turn a parking ticket into a full-blown essay. Messed up system, she'd say, and someone would pay it. Usually me. She'd cry pretty, say sorry like a poem. Before this new clinic gig, I didn't have $30,000 months to hide. I had $2,300 in checking and a loan payment that made me nauseous. When the private clinic finally gave me a runway, I told myself, stay small, stay quiet, stack your own oxygen, savings for a down payment, a fund for Mason at 18, fix the old Corolla and drive it till it dies. No photos, no flex, no telling mom. But in my family, silence is a provocation. If you don't say it, they ask. If you refuse, they guess. If you deflect, they resent. Then one night, 9:37 p.m., mom called. Your sister has an opportunity, she sang. A certificate program. It'll change everything. How much? I asked automatically. Oh, just a little, she chirped. $1,500 now, $1,500 next month. Nothing for a surgeon. I can't, I said. Dead air. Then, that voice that freezes rooms. Excuse me. I'm putting money aside for Mason and a place closer to the hospital, I explained. I'm not a bank. You sound cold, she hissed. We raised you better. Family first. She hung up. 4 minutes later, April texted. You're cruel. Mom won't sleep now. Blue hearts. Crying emoji. That was the first time April called me cruel. The second was when I wouldn't co-sign a lease for a loft with exposed brick and a rent bigger than her income. The next morning, Dad was waiting outside the hospital, arms folded like a bouncer. You're not leaving your sister on the street, he said, keeping his voice low. I'm not her guarantor, I told him. I'm a surgeon. I cut people open and try to send them home alive. That's my job. He squinted. You used to be humble. I'm the same, I shot back. The expectations changed. The family gave you everything, he spat. Images flashed, me busting tables in college, studying in hallways, taking out loans, selling my guitar to clear a balance that wasn't even mine. I said nothing. Silence is my oldest language. April had perfected the art of just a nudge. Just today, Harold, you'll get it back. Swear. Send your routing number. I'm short by nothing. Nothing. Turned out to be $280, then $340, then $560. None of those numbers breaks a man. But together, they teach him something. People will stand on your shoulders as long as you don't shake. With Mason, though, it's different. Spending on him isn't a question. Shoes for his weird feet. Books that smell like new paper. Therapy when he started to stutter because my schedule made him chew his nails until they bled. Being his dad is the one bill I pay smiling. But I also learned to guard his innocence from my family's curiosity. Mom treats kids like tiny microphones. What does daddy do? Does daddy keep money in envelopes? Does daddy have a secret account? She says it like a game. It isn't. When the clinic contract kicked in, I promised myself I'd be boring. I wanted a key to a place where I could sleep between cases if I had to. I wanted a savings account named Mason, 18. I wanted to stop looking at gas prices like a math problem. No posting. No explaining. But then Mason, my sweet, literal, honest 12-year-old, told my mother a number he saw on my phone. He thought he was telling her my favorite color. That number spread through the family like a siren. It turned night lights into spotlights. It justified every single ask they'd been saving. You're fine, the subtext shouted. You can carry this. You're supposed to. At that anniversary dinner, when Mom took my card for one small bill, I remembered a different table. Christmas, I was 15. I'd saved for weeks to buy April a design book because she'd drawn dresses on every piece of mail in our house. Mom opened it, smiled. How thoughtful, honey. April put it down, muttered. Only that. She didn't mean to cut me in half. She did anyway. I swallowed hard then, too. Promised myself I wouldn't cry around the people who claimed to love me. So, when the first bank alert hit at 12:11 a.m., approved, I did what I do in the OR. I counted. 12:44 a.m. Approved. 1:06 a.m. Approved. 1:44 a.m. Approved. 2:17 a.m. Approved. It wasn't a robbery. It was a drip. The charges were help for April, transfer to April, utility, rent. The names were familiar. The hand signing? Mine. At 3:32 a.m., I looked at Mason asleep. Mouth open, hair smashed, belt still across his hoodie because he'd passed out in the ride home. He looked so small. Too small to be caught between adults and their numbers. I'm sorry for tonight. I whispered to a kid who couldn't hear me. I wasn't sorry for the money. I was sorry I'd let him be cornered into talking. By 4:20 a.m., the group text started. Mom, don't be dramatic. It's a small payment. We'll discuss tomorrow. Family, April, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll explain everything Monday. Love you. Dad, grow up. Family is not Excel. By 5:56 a.m., my projected balance showed a hole. Not zero. A crater. $38,000. If the pending charges cleared, it felt like standing over a patient, an opening wider than the first incision. Not a mistake. A choice. I brush my teeth under the bathroom light that makes everyone look sick. My hands were steady. I'm good under pressure. It's the one thing I trust about myself. At 7:02 a.m., I decided I would do one quiet thing. No speech. No war. Just one clean, final action. Not yet, I told myself. First, go hear them say family, like it cuts checks. Then do the thing. Sunday at noon. I told Mason to hang out with his friend. No homework, no guilt. I didn't want him in the splash zone. I went to my parents' apartment. Mom had papers spread out like she'd been up since dawn, making a plan. Highlighters, printed emails, that tight smile. Sit, she said, like she was the doctor now. Dad crossed his arms, leaned back. April stood near the window, face puffy from no sleep or too much crying. Hard to tell. It was a mistake, April blurted out. I needed to cover a tiny debt, and then there were fees. Not fees, I cut in. Payments in your name. Transfers to your account. Advances on my card. Mom lifted a hand. That universal, everyone calm down sign. Harold, nobody is attacking you. We can reorganize. Look, she pushed a spreadsheet toward me. If you reduce your discretionary spending, what discretionary spending? I asked. She smiled like I was cute. Gym. Fancy coffee. Apps you know. I laughed. Once. No humor. I operate 60 hours a week. My leisure is sleeping 3. Dad tapped the table twice. Enough drama. What's done is done. You'll do the right thing. Cover the hole and move on. The hole is 38,000, I said, letting the number land. That's not a hole. That's a pit. Family first, Dad said, like he'd invented the phrase. Family is you, your mother, your sister, your boy. My boy is not part of this, I snapped. Don't use him to gather intel. Don't sit him down for money talk. He's a child. Silence. April swallowed. I'm sorry, she whispered. You thought I wouldn't say anything? I finished for her. Like always. Mom straightened. We are not going to let you play the victim. How many times have we supported you? I just wanted to hear it out loud. When I asked not to be cruel. When I was in school, and you kept leftovers for me. When you bought me that doctor coat. When you watched my son. You washed him 2 afternoons, I said. The coat I paid for in 3 installments. Dad clicked his tongue. Ungrateful. April, voice paper thin, went for the fear. I could get evicted. I don't know what to do. I looked at her, and a decade peeled off. I saw a 7-year-old April with a splinter in her foot, letting me dig it out with tweezers and a flashlight. She'd whispered, I trust you. Like a secret. For a second, I wanted to fold. Mom saw it. Slid right in. Harold, you cover this, and we make a plan. We are a team. I breathed. Looked at my hands. The same hands that cut, tie, suture, and sometimes shake after certain words. And I said it. The way I deliver bad news to families who deserve clarity. No, the air in the room changed. Like a pressure door sealed. What do you mean, no? Dad asked. I'm not covering any more debt that isn't mine, I stated. I'm not letting you use my cards. And I'm not accepting that Mason gets interrogated to find out how much I make. Mom gave that sharp little laugh. You're exaggerating. It was a family loan. It wasn't a loan, I said. It was abuse. Watch your mouth. Dad snapped. Not in this house. In this house, I shot back. Limits have been treated like suggestions. April sobbed. If you don't help, I'll be on the street. I didn't look away from my parents when I answered. You can stay with me for 2 weeks. I'll help you build a budget that touches reality. We'll call your landlord together. I'll take you to job interviews. I won't drop you as a person. But my accounts are closed. Dad leaned back, a smirk spreading across his face. You call that help? Some surgeon. All brains, no heart. I'm a father, I said. First, I'm a father. Mom pinched her lips. You need to check your heart. You're bitter. I held her stare, and finally said the sentence I'd been tasting since midnight. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't throw anything. I just let the words sit there. Dad stood, did the thing he used to do when I was 10, turned his back, like the conversation was over if he decided it was. You think you're the man now? In this family, the last word is mine. Family first. Great, I said, standing too. Let's start there. From now on, my family is Mason and me. Mom followed me to the door, her spreadsheet clutched in her fist. Don't do something you'll regret. You'll cool off by morning. I won't, I said. Your sister needs you. My sister needs boundaries. Harold, please, April cried. The nickname. It hit old nerves. I paused. I love you, April. That's why the answer is no. I closed the door. No slam. Just the clean click of a latch when it finally sets. At 7:20 p.m., back home, I did the quiet thing. Opened the banking app. Locked every single card. Not heroic. Just swipe. Confirm. Done. I called the fraud line. Reported unauthorized use. Requested an audit. Flagged every transaction with April's name on it. Then I did the part that mattered most. I separated the streams. Wages to a new bank. Savings to a credit union I can't access on my phone. Mason's fund to a separate institution altogether. Auto transfers off. Alerts on. One thing. Clean. Boring. At 8:03 p.m., the phone started. Mom, don't be extreme. Reversed a bit. Dad, you're a disgrace. April, I'm coming over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I put my phone face down. I made scrambled eggs and toast for dinner with Mason. We talked about his science homework. The heart beats with electricity, Dad, not magic, and argued whether ketchup belongs on eggs. We watched a dumb movie. At 10:41, I muted the family group. Monday, 7:02 a.m. The minute I promised to myself. I sent one text. Whole policy. Lowercase. No swears. No theater. Starting today. 1. I do not lend or share cards. 2. I do not cosign or guarantee. 3. I do not pay other people's debts. 4. Do not ask Mason about my money. 5. If you need help, I define it and I set the terms. If charges continue, I file a formal report. H. Send it to Mom. To Dad. To April. 3 blue checks. 9 minutes of nothing. Then the flood. 7:11 a.m. First call. 7:12. Second. 7:13. Third. By 8:26 a.m., 17 missed calls. By 9:50, 31. By noon, 53. My pocket buzzed like a cheap drill. Mason glanced at the screen on the ride to school. Raised his eyebrows. That's a lot, he said. It's noise, I told him. Noise goes down. In the OR that afternoon, between a gallbladder and a hernia, I took a deep breath. Let the room do its job. The OR is a church for people who don't pray. The patient's body doesn't care about family politics. The scalpel doesn't know who's in your phone. At 1:55 p.m., my email chimed. The bank had frozen $18,000 in transactions pending investigation. Not joy, relief with a half-life. That evening, April showed up at my door. Backpack, eyeliner smeared, hair shoved into a knot. Can I stay 2 weeks? She said. No makeup voice. No performance. Yes, I said. With conditions. Anything, she whispered. Phone off at 10:30. No online shopping. Tomorrow you go to the front desk interview I lined up at the clinic. I'll pay the bus this week. That's it. Tonight, we build a budget that has numbers, not wishes. She nodded, cried a little. I made tea. At 9:12, we opened her bank app, wrote down every subscription, every delivery, only $9.99. For the first time, her spreadsheet had no Herald column. It had income, rent, food, debt. It looked like a real life. Mom pivoted to health. Texts about blood pressure, dizziness. Your father can't sleep. At 10:02, she sent a photo of a home cuff. 148/92. I'm not a cardiologist, but I can read numbers. I texted back what I tell any patient. Go to urgent care if you feel off. I can take you. Please don't use health to argue about money. She didn't go. Tuesday, 6:20 a.m. Dad waited on the sidewalk outside the hospital. Hands jammed in his coat like it was winter in August. You going to report your mother? He said. I'm going to report unauthorized use if it continues, I replied. She gave you life. You both raised me, I said. And I'm raising my son. That's the circle. Family first, he said, like a prayer worn smooth by overuse. Family isn't a debit card, I told him. It's a boundary. He just stared, like I'd spoken another language. For the first time, I didn't want to win. I wanted to scrub in, do my cases, and later sit on the couch, while Mason read me 2 pages of a book about hearts beating, because electricity tells them to. April came home, smiling the next day. They want me for a second interview, she said. Good, I told her. Mom says you're cruel. She can feel that, I replied. What do you feel? She asked. Tired, I said. She twisted her hands. Do you hate me? No, I said. But I can't save you every month. That's not love. She nodded, her eyes shiny. You never asked me for anything, she said. Maybe that's why it felt like there was no limit. There's always a limit, I said. We just didn't say it out loud. Wednesday, Mom sent a 3-minute voice note. Crying. Your father doesn't understand why you're like this. You broke his heart. April might be homeless. Money changed you. You used to be tender. Money dirted you. I deleted it. Not from anger. From hygiene. Thursday, 6:47 p.m. A collections agent called my number asking for Harold G. about a debt of April's. She'd used my phone as the contact. That's not the debtor's number, I stated. Please update your records. Is she family? He asked. Yes, I said. That changes nothing. I hung up, stared down a long, bright hallway that smelled like alcohol preps and bad coffee. The word, family, weighs different when numbers sit under it. It can be a rope. It can hold. It can also choke. Friday came. 22 new alerts. Attempted charge declined. The quiet thing had worked. At 9:12 a.m., the bank reversed $12,700. The rest would take time. I didn't feel victorious. I felt like I'd put a tourniquet on, and the bleeding had finally slowed. Dad texted that afternoon. Come to dinner. We'll talk like men. I didn't. I flipped burgers at home. April set the table. Careful, like it mattered. Mason asked between bites. What does family first mean? I chewed. Swallowed. It means we take care of each other, I said. But it doesn't mean we take from each other. How do you know the difference? He asked. Boundaries, I said. Like when I tell you no video games after 10, no matter the puppy eyes. Oh, he said. It's for my good. Exactly. I looked at April. She looked at her plate. Over the weekend, Mom posted a photo on social media. Her hand over Dad's. Caption, 40 years of love. Family is everything. Likes piled up from aunts and neighbors. None of them saw my alerts at 2:17 a.m. Social media is a hospital hallway with the blood mopped away. Sunday, 7:04 p.m. I sent one more message to the family group. I love you. If you want to talk, Sunday 5 p.m. at my place. Mason present. No yelling, no guilt. Bring a pen and paper so we can write down boundaries. If not,